How's your weekend?
Pretty
Pretty
good.
good.
Anything exciting?
Barbecue.
Ooh.
I barbecue.
Oh, you barbecue?
Yeah, I
What
went
did you
out.
grill?
They made hot dogs and burgers, just basic white people food. Not
Okay.
that good.
Charcoal grill or gas?
It was gas.
Yeah.
Gas.
I keep it simple, right? Sometimes hot dogs and burgers is really over.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anything exciting? No? Anyone observe their own behavior this weekend and take notes? See if anything needs to be modified. All right. Well, today I'll go back over chapter 1, kind of just get an overview. Maybe for people who didn't really catch up last week, and then we'll get into chapter 2. The blackboard still needs to be revised. I'm talking to my TA to get that done as soon as possible, so make announcements on that. But yeah, do we have any observations? So, what did we say? Who's my Monday people? 2. Who's my Wednesday people? Your Wednesday? Wednesday? You sir?
Thursday?
Thursday?
This is my first day.
Oh, it's first day.
So,
Okay, so this your first day. So, hey, what we're doing is as we kind of learn about behavior analysis and modification, we're talking about making some observations out in the world about things that we could see that needs to possibly be modified in terms of behavior. So I said the simple examples, like you go to Starbucks and they have a recycle bin, a waste bin, or something else. Most people come to throw everything in the waste bin. So they're too lazy, they don't care, right? So you're like, but Starbucks is trying to incentivize or motivate in some way to get people to do the right thing, which is recycle, right? No one's doing it. We see this all over, anywhere you go, airports, restaurants, etc. That's just one observation. So that's just an example you can use. Like, hey, what do I see that there's signals to try to get people to modify their behavior? Do I think they can do something different? Like even here at university, you're like, hey, I see they kind of want people to do this, but people do the opposite or something, right? What is it that they're trying to reinforce? Those are the observations we can make, right? It could be for an individual, it could be a business, an environment, an institution. It's just something of your own observation. All right, so we got 2 today. What day are you going for observations? Is it one? Is it one today? Today? So you have something?
yeah.
Okay, cool. So we got 3 people. I'll break it up. I'll lecture a little bit, let one person go, come back to lecture. That way we can kind of break it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. And then 2, in terms of blackboard and everything else, so we have a textbook for the course, right? And if there's a midterm or anything, that'd be mostly referenced, but I have slides and everything from there, so nobody will be left out in the code. But there's the textbook that's actually on the syllabus on Blackboard, which is the one I'm going to be following for lectures. So there's the one in the bookstore. It's kind of boring. The one I'm using to me is a little bit more up to date, not as dry. Because the other one's kind of very repetitive, behavior modification. So yeah, it's your choosing. Get the book, don't get the book, but regardless of that, midterm, final, I'll give you review items so you know exactly what's on the exams. Right? All right, any other questions before we begin? Hey, any observations you just seen out randomly, like over the weekend for Labor Day? Anything you just observed, like people's behaviors? Or maybe a friend or an associate? Hey, the older we get at, the less change I observe with people. At a certain point, I think people are very simple to figure out. We usually have a procedure about their life daily. We usually follow a schedule. People know when they're gonna eat, when they're gonna go work out, what their system is, right? And it gets even more simple, I think, as you age. It probably comes naturally, but we can talk more about that later. All right, so here, we'll review chapter 1. All right, so we say, hey, we're looking at behavior for lasting change. We'll learn what behavior exactly is, how the book kind of references what it is, and what can we do about it. All right, so the history of ABA. All right, we said, all right, early psychologists hypothesized they could interpret an individual's mental state by identifying components of behavior. It is essentially like labeling behavior, right? Think of yourself as a scientist and you're making observations. You're sitting in Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks and you're people watching, and then you're taking notes. And you're like, I wonder if I could label hand gestures, touching of the face, little tics that people have in my own way. Give them labels, right? So they kind of hypothesize they can interpret individuals' mental state by identifying these components, often assigning labels to identify attitudes. Because you label a particular type of attitude about a person. Right? Think of the class. I'm like, hey, are there similarities in attitudes among students? Right? You're like, well, what's an attitude? What's an attitude? What's your definition of an attitude? Yeah.
Well, the one I grew up with when it comes to my parents would be attitude being like a negative feeling or some form of like frustration.
Okay. You're like, hey, attitude could be classified, you're saying, as a negative feeling or sense of frustration, but something inevitably negative. Negative disposition or something like that. Anyone else? Like, how would you guess?
It's more like an outward emotion that people like have in a sense.
Okay. Be like, hey, something expressed outwardly that one could clearly see. All right, being like, I don't know, maybe it's how people look at you, rolling up the eyes. Some people may seem like they could care less. All right, it's a certain state of mind that kind of outwardly express. Right, and I'm pretty sure, people have told you about your own attitude. Like, yeah, I like your attitude. Like, what does that mean? You got a cheerful disposition. Right, but they're saying, hey, this is how it all started. Identifying attitudes, developmental, emotional stages. Clearly noticing when, okay, babies go into this toddler stage, what took place, can we notate that, what's the changes? Toddlers go into small children, and to adolescence, into young adulthood, et cetera, right? They're like, how are they emotionally or mentally during those stages? So one of the kind of things maybe for your age group is a tendency to not focus on the sense of actual mortality and the sense of feeling that you really die, right? Older people tend to have this sense of mortality. They've been to more funerals. They've actually seen a lot of people die, right? But for your age group, that means you'll be a little bit more risky. You will go skydiving, no problem. You'll go on a crazy roller coaster. You'll go do all this different stuff, right? As you get older, you're like, hey, the emotional state changes, because now you're a little bit more apprehensive to risk. I don't know, if something goes wrong, we all die, right? But it kind of changes over time, And then character attributes, right? How do we label character? How would people define your character? Character is really important. Character is really important. What is character? Like, even if you're talking about somebody else. Yeah.
I would say it's more like a continuous like version of an attitude. It's like if you're always happy, people are always gonna associate you as a happy person because you have that attribute.
Like, hey, character is kind of really linked to attitude. Maybe character is a little bit more dimensional. Meaning, like, hey, I think that person's an honest person. They have honest character. Loyalty might be a character, right? But loyalty might not be an attitude. Right? Attitude might be something different. So people are, hey man, that person's honest, that person's loyal, that person's fickle, right? That person can't be trusted, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe character is more long-lasting attributes of a person, more enduring kind of dimensions of a person.
Would it be like a version of that person? Or depending on the person speaking about that character, it could be different.
You could say that, yeah. I would say, hey, character in context. Because remember Carl Jung? We're familiar with Jung at all? Anyone? Okay, well, I know some of you might be your first psych class. All right, we got Sigmund Freud. Everyone's heard of Freud. All right, Jung was his colleague. Jung, to me, is the greatest psychologist ever, by far. Right, because he not only just created the foundation of a lot of things we talk about, but he includes spirituality, intuition, all the other components that are usually kind of left out. Right? But versions, right? So Jung says we wear a mask, right? It's called the shadow, which means that, hey, you have a school mask. And you don't want people at school to really see who you truly are in the dark, that only probably you and two other people really know who you are. And you come out and you fake it, do stuff you don't want to do with people you don't even really like, but you're operating on fear of like, well, I don't want to isolate, I'll be friends with people, I'll be fake, I'll be phony. And as you get older, maybe the mask kind of cracks, right? Either you get exposed, or you get tired, you actually get exhausted of wearing a mask. I don't want to do this one. I know what I want, I don't know what I don't want. I'll tell the people the truth, they accept it or they don't, and move on, right? But it comes with experience. So, kind of linking that to what you're saying, like, hey, maybe they're different. People act as a character. So, a character is like a movie or a video game in different environments, in different contexts. People's different at the party, or at work. Like, they're an a-hole at work. They're the boss. And then you see them outside of work, and like, they try to be cool. Right? So yeah, you're right. It could be in context, right? Character in context. You're like, oh, different versions of people in different environments, right? Faking it over here, not being real self over here. There's always like the text on those. All right, Watson and Skinner. Skinner's huge, right? Skinner came up with operant conditioning, and we said positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment. Give human beings some positive reinforcement, that will motivate them to do something, modify their behavior, take something away, that will also motivate them to do something, right? I say, example, I tell my son, do your homework. I don't want to. I'll give you ice cream. Okay, I'll do your homework. That's adding, right? Positive. Do your homework. I don't want to. All right, give me a tablet. Until you do your homework. Negative. And then punishment. Go get the bell. I mean, it's literally punishment. And you kind of, you're like, this is what you do. I mean, does the punishment change behavior? Maybe, but it also comes with some attachments, some other things that are negative, trauma. Right? Now you're an older adult talking about how your mom and dad used to beat you. Right? Are you still talking about that? Obviously, that was traumatic. That's still even a thing. You don't remember the other stuff, but you remember that. Right? So punishment usually don't work. We don't talk about really punishment that much in this course. We don't believe it truly works. We don't think sending criminals to prison and locking them in a cage is going to modify the behavior when they come out and now they're good people. Right? No, we think usually they come out better criminals. If anything. They come out way more savvy, because you think of you've placed people in environments, very limited environments, and now you have to be savvy. Hey, how can I make this desk into a weapon? ramen noodles with no stove. Use a lighter. You know what I mean? So it really would become militarized. You're like, man, these guys are perfect for Navy SEALs, right? They can make anything out of anything, right? So yes, it doesn't really make people better to it. Alright, here I think is a short video about let's see what I saw. Alright, we'll skip this. Alright, anyway, so what it's illustrating really is like, hey, you know, Skinner says, I'll have a laboratory. Skinner was pretty famous psychologist.